In 1990, the aviation world expected a successor to the legendary 747, a trijet designed to define the future of long-haul flight. The MD-11 had everything on paper: glass cockpit, extended range, better economics. Airlines placed orders. Engineers celebrated. But within a decade, it was gone. Not retired, killed. And the reason it died wasn't just about one aircraft. It was about the very structure of the aviation industry and Boeing's current crisis. The McDonnell Douglas MD-11 was supposed to be the answer. Launched in 1990, it was a stretched, modernized version of the DC-10, the workhorse trijet that had carried millions across oceans for 2 decades. But this wasn't just an upgrade. The MD-11 promised a revolution: longer fuselage, advanced glass cockpit avionics, extended range that could rival anything Boeing had, better fuel economics than the aging 747. On paper, it was perfect. 50 firm orders from 10 airlines. Finnair took delivery of the first one. Engineers marveled at the technology. Airlines saw a modern jet that could fly their most profitable routes without the 4-engine operating costs of the 747. This was the jet that would take long-haul aviation into a new era. McDonnell Douglas had spent 5 years developing it. Started discussions in 1985, first flight in 1990. Every spec promised efficiency. Every design choice targeted the airline's biggest pain points: range, capacity, operating costs. The dream was simple: replace the 747 without the massive price tag or fuel burn. But here's what nobody expected. The MD-11's greatest promise became its greatest lie. The problems appeared immediately. American Airlines, one of the biggest DC-10 operators in the world, adopted the MD-11 as its natural replacement. They had the infrastructure, the training programs, the maintenance crews. Everything was ready. But the aircraft failed repeatedly to deliver on its core promises. Fuel burn? Higher than promised. Range? Shorter than advertised. The numbers didn't lie. Every flight revealed the gap between what McDonnell Douglas had sold and what the MD-11 actually delivered. One anonymous American Airlines pilot put it bluntly: "We were unhappy with the performance." That's corporate speak for disaster. Airlines don't pay hundreds of millions of dollars for unhappy. They pay for precision, for guarantees, for specs that match reality. The MD-11 consistently missed its targets on the 2 metrics that mattered most: fuel efficiency and range capability. The damage was immediate. Reputation in aviation spreads fast. One disappointed airline tells 10 others. Engineers compare notes. Pilots talk. Within months, the MD-11's reputation wasn't just damaged, it was toxic. American Airlines didn't just phase out their MD-11s slowly, they discarded them as soon as more reliable aircraft became available. And they weren't alone. Other airlines watched, waited, then walked away. But the real killer wasn't just the MD-11's flaws. It was what happened next. While the MD-11 struggled, Boeing was building something lethal: the 777, a twin-engine widebody that promised everything the MD-11 couldn't deliver: lower operating costs, better fuel efficiency. And here's the critical part: it entered service just as ETOPS certification was revolutionizing long-haul aviation. ETOPS, Extended Range Twin-Engine Operational Performance Standards. It allowed twin-engine jets to fly routes that previously required 3 or 4 engines. The MD-11 entered service 2 years after ETOPS rollout, which meant it was already obsolete on launch day. Think about the economics: 3 engines versus 2. 3 engines means 3 times the maintenance windows, 3 times the parts inventory, 3 times the inspection cycles. Airlines began to actively cancel their MD-11 orders. JAT Yugoslav Airlines, the launch customer, canceled before delivery. McDonnell Douglas had to scramble to find Finnair as a replacement. The 777 offered twin-engine simplicity with better range than the MD-11's troubled specs. Forum analysts on PPRU, professional pilots with decades of wide-body experience, stated it plainly: MD-11 couldn't compete with the big twins, mainly because of direct operating costs. Airlines didn't choose the 777 because the MD-11 was bad. They chose it because the MD-11 was expensive to operate and unreliable. The shift was brutal. Orders that had been promised to McDonnell Douglas quietly moved to Boeing. The MD-11 sales collapsed. Only around 200 units were ever produced, a catastrophic number for a jet designed to replace the most successful widebody in history. But the death of the MD-11 triggered something much bigger. By the mid-90s, McDonnell Douglas was hemorrhaging money. The MD-11's failure wasn't just a product problem. It was an existential crisis. Low sales meant reduced production runs. Reduced production meant higher per-unit costs. Higher costs made the aircraft even less competitive. The spiral was vicious. And then, in 1997, Boeing made its move. The Boeing-McDonnell Douglas merger. Boeing acquired its largest competitor for $11 billion. On paper, it was a strategic expansion. In reality, it was an execution. Boeing didn't want McDonnell Douglas's technology or expertise. It wanted to eliminate competition. The MD-11's quiet death led directly to the 1997 Boeing-McDonnell Douglas merger. Production of the MD-11 ended almost immediately after the deal closed. Boeing had no interest in supporting a jet that competed with its own 747 and 777 lineup. Why would they? The MD-11 overlapped with both. Killing it made perfect business sense. The remaining MD-11s shifted to cargo operations. FedEx and UPS kept them flying. Freighters don't care about passenger comfort or cabin noise. They care about volume and reliability, and in cargo roles, the MD-11 was adequate. For a while, it looked like the MD-11 would quietly fade into the cargo niche, but even that didn't last. In 2025, a Delta Airlines MD-11 cargo flight suffered a catastrophic left engine and pylon separation. 14 people died. The FAA issued an immediate grounding order for all U.S.-operated MD-11s. UPS retired its entire fleet in January 2026. The MD-11 wasn't just dead, it was erased. Here's what most people miss. The MD-11's death didn't just end one aircraft program, it ended competition in American widebody manufacturing. Before the merger, airlines had choices: Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, Lockheed until the early 90s. Competition forced innovation. It kept prices in check. It meant airlines could play manufacturers against each other for better deals. After the merger, Boeing was the only American widebody manufacturer left. Airbus remained in Europe, but in the US, Boeing had a monopoly. And monopolies don't innovate under pressure. Fast forward to today. Boeing's quality crisis. The 737 MAX groundings, the fuselage issues, the mounting safety concerns can be traced back to one thing: lack of competition. When you're the only game in town, accountability fades. The MD-11's failure wasn't just about bad specs or poor timing, it was the trigger that reshaped the entire aviation manufacturing landscape in America. Killing it didn't just remove one jet from the market, it silenced the last voice challenging Boeing's dominance. Think about that. A jet designed to replace the 747 ended up ensuring Boeing would never have to face a true American competitor again. The airlines that canceled their MD-11 orders didn't just kill an aircraft, they killed an industry structure that had kept Boeing sharp for decades. Today, as Boeing faces mounting criticism for quality lapses, it's worth asking, would this have happened if McDonnell Douglas were still around? If the MD-11 had succeeded? If airlines had maintained a choice? We'll never know. What we do know is this: the MD-11's legacy isn't just its quiet death, it's the silence of competition that followed. And that silence is louder than any engine failure. If stories like this keep you thinking long after the video ends, subscribe to Plain Theory, because the deeper you look at aviation history, the more you realize every decision echoes forward in ways nobody planned.